Greetings, my name is Hubba, and for my latest mini podcast video entitled Underwater Cartography using the Yuffie Glitch, I've decided to do a little bit of a video explaining some of the nuanced elements of a PC-only glitch that was discovered by Neohart entitled the Yuffie Warping Glitch, and I'm going to be using that glitch to explore the underwater world of Final Fantasy VII. What we'll be doing first off is we'll be explaining and sort of experimenting with the Yuffie glitch, demonstrating its use, talking of the potential uses of the glitch, and then we're going to use a special type of the glitch to get ourselves a vehicle for exploring the underwater world. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that just yet, because I'd like to leave it as a bit of a surprise for later if you haven't seen it before. If you have seen it before, it won't be a surprise, but yeah, stay tuned otherwise. In any case, let's go over into the game real quick. Let me just change overlays. So this is, of course, the PC re-release version of Final Fantasy VII. This is the same version, basically, that is also just released on Steam as of July 4th, 2013. It's basically the exact same version. The only difference is that the Steam version has a couple of Steam-only hooks on it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to load a save. This is going to be sort of a demonstration of the Yuffie Warping Glitch. We're going to load a save from the hallway. The hallway is, of course, the sunken Gelnika that you have access to in Disc 2. So you would already have the submarine by this point, but what we're going to do is we're going to intentionally kill ourselves. Now, what does this do? This gives us a game over. But what a game over does in the PC version is it actually leaves a sort of ghost image of the point at which you game overed on the PC version. And we're going to abuse that, and we're going to hook up to it using a different save file as soon as we game over. So I'll sort of demonstrate this. First, we need to get into an encounter in a hallway. And then, you don't necessarily have to get into an encounter in exactly hallway. It can actually be any field map battle, as well as the diamond weapon fight, which is the only boss battle on the world map that you can encounter. So any field map battle will be a viable jump point to the glitch. So we're choosing hallway for a very specific reason. So let's kill ourselves real quick. I've already got this save file set up so that we can optimally suicide. So we're just going to cast Magic Breath on our own party with Vincent, who has a very high magic stat, and he has his magic items boosted. We have no immunity to these elements, so it should, except it missed. Did that actually miss Vincent? Oh wow, okay, well that doesn't usually happen, but I guess Vincent must have some sort of armor equipped that gives him a percentage chance to dodge magic. That must be what it is, but that's actually the first time I've seen that. That's pretty cool. Anyways, unexpected things happen when you record things for a YouTube video, I suppose. So there we go, here's our game over. Now, the game over, of course, sends you back to the opening screen, which we'll just zoom through. Now, instead of reloading that same save file, what we're going to do instead is we're going to load a save file that is outside one of the forests in the world map where you can encounter Yuffie. And this is without having recruited her before. So I'm going to load this save file, which is already also preset. This is a forest in the Junon area. As you can see, we're sort of in the Junon area. Ideally, for the Yuffie glitch, you actually want to set up in the forest outside Rocket Town, in the Rocket Launchpad area. The reason why you want to do it ideally there is because you have an almost 100% chance, it's 255 of 256 chance of encountering Yuffie in that forest. But I want to demonstrate something in this forest particularly. Now, you only have about a 1 in 16 chance of encountering Yuffie in this forest, so it might actually take a few fights. But I want to demonstrate something that was perhaps not 100% known about the Yuffie glitch previous. In actuality, you don't have to encounter the Yuffie fight on the very first encounter. You can in fact get into as many fights as you like before encountering Yuffie, as long as you stay on the world map after immediately loading the save. So you want to make sure that you stay on the world map, but you could technically run away from as many fights as you wanted, or defeat as many enemies as you wanted on the world map, until you encounter Yuffie, and you'd still be able to activate the glitch. Now, what the glitch is going to do when we get to it, is it's going to activate a wrong warp, which is sort of a term that's derived from other video games that have it, i.e. Zelda Ocarina of Time, where you can wrong warp lots of different places. But basically what it does is it warps us to the place that we game overed from previously. Like, remember how I said it left a sort of ghost image? We're actually going to teleport to that part of the game. This has some very, very useful effects for people who want to collect additional items from missable places, or it can also be used to do some very, very crazy things. I have a video on YouTube already where I first test this glitch out. I warped from this area to the place where Barrett and Tifa are being executed in Disc 2, and it caused some just unbelievable effects where I just completely lost my marbles for about 20 minutes straight. There's about an 11-minute clip of that on one of my other YouTube videos, but we're actually going to intentionally warp to the Galnica. The reason why we picked Hallway as our sort of start point is we're going to head to the Galnica, and normally what would happen when you leave the Galnica is you would escape to your submarine. But because we're actually loading a Disc 1 save, we don't actually have a submarine, so it creates a very, very interesting interaction, which will allow us to do some cartography. So hopefully within the next couple of fights or so, I'm just going to make sure I don't die. Hopefully within the next couple of fights or so, we'll be able to get a Yuffie fight, and I'll show you what I mean. But yes, this glitch was discovered a few months ago by Neohart, who's another streamer on twitch.tv. And he discovered it more or less on accident while trying to do some speedrun routing, and it's since become one of the sort of most impactful glitches of the PC version. Now this particular glitch does not work on any of the console versions to the best of my knowledge. It will only work on the PC versions of the game. However, it will work on all PC versions. That includes the original 1998 release, as well as the 2012 re-release and the 2013 Steam release. So this glitch, as long as you have a PC version, you can duplicate it, you can replicate it, and do it for yourself. Now, of course, like I said, it's most practical. Here's the Yuffie fight, by the way. You can tell by the way the camera pans. It's most practical to set up this glitch outside the Rocket Town forest because of the low encounter rate in this forest. But since that we got the Yuffie fight here, what you do is you defeat her. Now, normally what would happen if you defeated her is you would get sent to that screen with the save point, and you activate the Yuffie recruitment scene. But look what happens. Watch what happens after we get out of the spoil screen here. We'll get out of the spoil screen, right? And then we appear in the hallway where we game overed at the step that we encountered the enemy. So this allowed us to wrong warp to the hallway, even though the until you leave the screen it will incorrectly show Junon area. But as you can see, you don't actually need to get into the Yuffie fight, the very first fight upon reloading. You can get into as many fights as you want, but you have to make sure to stay on the world map screen that you loaded in on. I tried doing some funky things with trying to switch screens and like activate the Yuffie glitch using different cutscenes, but so far I haven't really found any results. If you have found results where you can get the Yuffie glitch without actually using the Yuffie encounter, please post in the comments or post a video response or message me either by email or on Twitch or on YouTube, and that would be fantastic information to know. But so far as I've seen about testing, you have to make sure you stay on the same world map screen where you loaded in. The other thing that you should pay attention to is this right here. You actually get to have the same party, the same equipment when you wrong warp from the save that you load in after game overing. So this would actually never happen. And by what I mean this right here. Aerith, whatever you want to call her, she's in Disc 2 right now. So this is one of the other fantastic things you can do with the Yuffie glitches. You can actually wrong warp a party from Disc 1 forward into the game where party members who would not normally be there for story reasons are now existent. I just want to show you what happens if you leave. Now notice that chest up at the top left of your screen right here. I'm going to move my mouse cursor and just point that out. Right here, that chest is empty. You leave, and then you come back. First of all, Cloud will say the dialogue option that would happen if you first arrived. That chest up in the top right corner, or top left corner, wow, I can tell left and right very well. The top left corner is actually unopened again. And you go to the research room now instead of the Junon area, so it resets some of the items. I also additionally found that if you walk into the left screen where you would fight Reno and Rude, you fight them again. But the reason why that doesn't really have any practical use specifically for the Galnica when warping from Disc 1 is the reason that I'm about to show you. So now, remember how I said that when you exit, you're normally supposed to go to your submarine? Now this is the vehicle, quote-unquote vehicle, we're going to use. Get ready. Are you ready? And we magically transform into the Key of the Ancients. A mobile key of the ancients is at that. This isn't supposed to happen, and it's one of the craziest things I've seen as a result of the Yuffie glitch. But as you can see, we are now officially the key of the ancients. Now, this isn't the first time this has been documented. I mean, not necessarily specifically this, but if you look at some of Garland the Great's glitch videos, you'll know that he is sometimes turned into the underwater reactor and a few other things. And he has also been able to do this exact mobile thing. But what hasn't necessarily been documented, at least not of the videos that I've seen, is the actual cartography of the underwater world. So here's the interesting thing about being the key of the ancients, or one of those other things that Garland activated using his GameShark code. You can clip over the world. So as you can see, we can actually travel pretty much the entire world map underwater. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, if you try and, after activating this Key of the Ancients glitch, if you try and return to a place like the Gelnika, or you try and go to anywhere else, like if I wanted to go here to the underwater cave, you can't actually, I'm pressing the X button right now to try and, I'm actually pressing all the buttons except for circle. You can't actually surface, so you're actually stuck from this point on underwater, and there's no way to keep going. You're basically stuck. The problem with the Yuffie glitch is that you get stuck in a lot of places like this where you can't actually progress the story at all from the point where you glitch forward to. So this is one of the caveats to using this glitch to wrong warp, is that it creates a lot of places where you can no longer continue the game. Now, the underwater reactor here is still present, so I just want to make sure to let people notice this. So the underwater reactor here, you can still see it. Emerald Weapon, even though we haven't actually defeated Emerald Weapon on the save, is nowhere to be found. But the places in which you can normally visit are actually there. They're just inaccessible. Now, if we actually go over here, I believe it's this direction. If we go over here to where I believe the Gelnika is, and I've tested this once before on stream, but unfortunately the stream video was lost. So now that if we try to re-enter the Gelnika using this Key of the Ancient submersible, we'll find that we can't actually do that. We'll just clip right through it. And so you can't even re-enter the Gelnika and attempt to reset it that way. So why am I showing you this other than the fact that it's super cool? Well, one of the things that the Garland the Great video doesn't actually show, to the best of my knowledge, is while you can clip through the world, there's actually other places in the FF7 underwater world that you can visit. And I'm going to demonstrate this real quick. So let's try and fly. Yes, this is a flight object. Let's try and float or travel to the underneath the northern crater in the northern continent. So let's go visit Sephiroth. One thing you will notice, which probably should come up right about here. Oh no, actually it managed to be alright. Sometimes when you're floating in the underwater passages here, your key mobile, as right here, it'll get stuck. It'll get caught on things, and you'll have to actually sort of try and shimmy your way past them, because for some reason, due to the sort of weird clippingness of this particular bug, you actually have to sort of navigate a correct route around some of these unforeseen impassable polygons of blue here that I can't seem to get by right now, but I'm trying my best to get around this sort of impassable polygon. Impassable polygon, and those are sort of some of the things that you'll have to deal with if you want to try this glitch out for yourself, which I highly recommend you do if you haven't before, and you have a PC version, because it's very cool. So let's see what happens when we get all the way up to Sephiroth's place. And we're just coming up on it now, I believe, or at least we're getting pretty close. So as you can see, we can go straight through the continents and stuff. There isn't really much to see as far as the blue polygonals. But look what we find when we get up north. Is another underwater map. As you can see, this looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? This seems to be just like another underwater map place. In fact, this is basically a carbon copy of where you would normally find the Gelnika. And look what happens when we try and get out of that area, is we see another main underwater area that shouldn't actually exist here because we're nowhere near our original underwater area. Look, here is even the crater. Here's even the crater where Weapon would have landed and exploded after being shot by the Junon cannon. So what's the deal here? You will notice, however, that there is no underwater reactor in this duplicate area. There is no underwater reactor. So it may be a sort of a quote-unquote duplicate land area, but it doesn't contain any of the landmarks that we would normally see in terms of the Galnica or the ancient key, which of course, because we are the key, there wouldn't be another key, or the underwater reactor or the submarine. But it's still a duplicate area. Now, keep in mind that it's not a complete duplicate. For example, we're going to come up here, up on the end of the world. Now, anyone who's played FF7 and has piloted the airship across the edge of the world will know that when you travel from the top of the screen, you'll immediately appear at the bottom of the screen. But in this case, we see this black abyss that occurs when we're coming up on the edge of the map. And if we try and go past the edge of the abyss, we suddenly appear in Polygon Land. This is because whatever this duplicate map actually gets cut off by the edge of the world. But because the world wraps, like as in like a wraparound, like it wraps from bottom to top, it just teleports us to the bottom of the map, which doesn't contain duplicate world, and it will simply just end. So it's not a complete duplicate of the underwater map. It's only a partial duplicate, however much the space that is allotted for the duplicate can contain. So that was really interesting. But let's keep exploring for a bit. Let's go over to the place where Round Island should be. Where Round Island being the small island, which is only accessible by Gold Chocobo, which you would get Knights of the Round materia from. Nope, we're stuck. We're stuck in Polygon Land. Hold on, give me a sec here. Try and get past Polygon Land. Looks like I might have to go around a bit. But basically our next travel point goal here is Round Island. Now what happens when we go to Round Island? It does take a little bit of navigation, which is perhaps why the Garland video doesn't show all of these cool little things. Because perhaps he just got stuck and didn't think there was a passable point, or perhaps it's contained in another video. I do know that I've heard of people who have explored this particular thing before. They know that this is the case, and look what we have here. When we come up to near where Round Island is, it's another underwater duplicate map. And this looks familiar, because that's where the Galnica should be. And we're at another duplicate map. So like I said before, this I believe has already been discovered before, the fact that these duplicate maps, plural, exist. Just that it was usually only discoverable via a GameShark glitch. But now that we have the Yuffie glitch, we can actually explore this without having to enter any GameShark codes, which is fantastic. So as you can see, we have another duplicate map, followed by another black abyss of death, which is actually just the top of the world map, and if we continue, we end up in Polygon Land. So let's just go back for a moment. So as you can see, again, we're gonna come up on another crater, and another no underwater reactor. The underwater reactor is nowhere to be found in this duplicate as well. So there's another one. Now this brings the question: just how many are there? If I bring up the no, I can't actually bring up the large size of the world map, which is unfortunate. I wanted to bring up the large size of the world map. I guess you can't underwater. But let me just point out some of the ones that I've mapped out. So hopefully you can see my mouse cursor on the screen now. I did that intentionally. So we've already seen the one that's around here at the northern crater. And then we have another duplicate one here, which is near Round Island. There's actually also one in the top left of the screen above the Wutai continent. In addition, there's another one right by the Wutai continent. There's also another one to the southeast of that. And there's even one just north of Temple of the Ancients and around this area. I'm going to travel to this one next. So we're going to go through the world and look up this one. But so far that I've seen, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe there's 6 duplicate underwater maps on the world map, which is very, very cool. And if you never knew that, it's certainly something that would be a little bit surprising for sure. Now, this obviously begs the question: why did this even happen? Why are there duplicates? And why are none of these places accessible using a submarine? I think the answer is that there were originally more places where you originally in the design plan of FF7, I believe that there were originally more places that you would have been able to access using the submarine. I think that they wanted to use the submarine more than what they did. However, for whatever reason, maybe they ran out of time or money, or they needed to rush the project, they didn't end up putting those in. So instead, they just created the base underwater area which you would normally be able to travel in the regular game, and then basically just tiled the map so that it would cover the whole world map for continuity's sake, like so that there isn't any empty spaces in the map, because a world map must still contain all of the area in which it contains. Just that they got kind of either lazy or they didn't expect anybody to travel those places, because of course you can't. And then so they just tiled the underwater area. So that's why there's duplicates. You were never intended to be able to travel to any of these duplicate areas. It's just that they exist because of the way that the map was created, which is still really cool. Okay, it looks like my my identification of where this place should be was a little bit off. It should be around in this area, but maybe I have to go a little bit more to the east. I only have explored this underwater area about 2 or 3 times, so I'm still a little bit off about where these duplicate areas should be. But I believe I have identified 6. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's up here. Okay, so it was a little bit more northeast than what I originally thought. But here is, of course, a 3rd duplicate map. Also, what I have noticed is that some of the duplicate maps... Is this one of them? No, this is another Gelnika copy. Some of the other duplicate maps, like the ones on the Wutai continent area, they have slightly different duplicate areas. For example, one of the ones on the far western side of the map will actually we could probably travel to there if I'm careful. So let's try and do that. Let's try and travel through the east side of the map here. Let's go over here and try and find the one near the Wutai continent. But as you can see, this one is another sort of fairly generic crater plus the Gelnika area copy of the underwater area. So if we go over and get past the sort of black abyss edge of the world thing, going from east to the west side of the map, as you can see, I'm stuck here, but you can sort of make out the outline of it there. Here is a sort of different duplicate map. Let's see if I can get over there. Trying to get over there. But what you're looking at, of course, is the path, the secret, quote-unquote secret, not really secret. Not really a secret, but sort of hidden pathway that would normally lead you to the waterfall cave where you would meet Lucrezia. Trying to make it over there, but it doesn't seem like I can from this angle, so I'm just trying to go around. So as you can see, that particular duplicate on the west side of the Wutai continent, that particular duplicate copies a different part of the underwater world. So I'm not sure exactly why that's the case. I think that's just as a result of some of the tiling that they did. Let's see if I can get through here. Okay, great. I got through. I'm above the underwater tunnel right now. There we go. There we go. So as you can see, this particular tunnel, which is nowhere near where it's supposed to be, would lead you to a little cave here, which people who have played the game will be senses familiar, because this is the cave where you would surface and then you'd go to the waterfall if this was your first time doing this aspect of the game. But this cave is completely misplaced, of course, so it's a duplicate of this particular part in this area. Now, I believe there's of course another duplicate map north of this at the top left of the map, and then there's another duplicate that's to the east of this map as well. So I think that rounds out 6 duplicate maps. So it was a really fantastic little exploration here of the underwater world, and it's all made possible thanks to this Yuffie glitch, which is extraordinary in its ability to mess up the game and show you things of the game that you never either have seen or knew before. So for all of you who have the PC version and you are sort of very interested in things that break the game, or just exploring things that would be otherwise inexplorable due to the normal constraints of the game, I highly recommend trying this glitch out. And I will post links to Neohart's original video explaining the Yuffie glitch, as well as Zero Kainos, aka Neuron, his video explaining the Yuffie glitch, which is very thorough. And I'll also post a link to Garland the Great's original glitch video that does do some exploration of the underwater map, which was sort of the inspiration for this video. So this one hopefully goes in a little bit more in depth and shows off some cool stuff that you can do with the Yuffie glitch in the PC version of the game. So as you can see, this has been pretty fun, but once you get to this point, of course, you can't actually leave. You can't leave. Famous Destiny saying, you can't leave. So you'll have to restart. You can't actually make a save file from when you're the key. That's one of the sort of caveats, but it's still pretty cool. But anyways, I hope you guys found this sort of exploration very interesting and educational, or just nutty. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I do occasional streams. I'm a sort of hobbyist streamer and content producer. I do occasional streams on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/hubum. So, as always, thanks for watching, and cheers.